All right, 42, 46. Let's move it along here. Let's see if there's anything else on this page before we move along to some other stuff. So, player projections, we won't get into all that. We definitely won't watch that preview. We'll get roasted for that. So that's all from that section right there. It's key advantages, I wonder. Okay, we kind of talked about looky here, boys. We got all kinds of information. Are you kidding me? Thank you, sir. Key advantages. All right. Rushing outside the tackles. Okay. Packers offense, third best in the league. Titans defense, 24th. What did Jeffrey Simmons specifically say in that interview?
They like to run to the outside.
There you go. So that's a key matchup for the Packers, right? Rushing versus the light box. If they don't have 8 in the box, the Packers are first in the league in it, as far as efficiency in that regard. The Titans defense with the light box, 14th best in the league. That would suggest with a 13 placeholder difference, probably going to want to put an extra guy in the box if we do lean on the run, right? So Packers have a 4-star.
That would give us an opportunity to do what you were talking about earlier. Maybe call some play action out of there to soften up that box.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Absolutely. If you get the run game going outside the tackles too, this scheme has been called for years. Now, if you understand the heritage of this scheme, it's the Kubiak system, which essentially it's the Shanahan system, which is the Kubiak system, which was the Mike Shanahan system, which was a hybrid of Alex Gibbs' wide zone blocking scheme and Bill Walsh's West Coast offense. So that's kind of the what it is. It's known as the wide zone boot scheme, meaning you run wide zone, and then you boot action hard out the back door off of that with a couple crossers, and even you can do what we call a wide dagger concept, meaning one side of the field is your go route, and the other side of the field is your crosser underneath, turning it into basically a dagger concept. It's just stretching the length of the field. Couple leaks underneath, could be a chip from a U leak out in the flat. You could also have a shallow cross from your Y if you're in 12 personnel, or a shallow cross from your slot with your number 1 on the opposite side, booting in that direction, running that deep climb, that deep crosser.
Yep.
So
that's why I felt like that would work, even if J Money doesn't play and we've got another game with Malik at the helm. Even play action boot off of that outside zone run and have him with some daylight, and he could even run. You can even run out of that boot action as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Let's talk about pressure rate. Packers offense, 7th in handling pressure rate. Titans defense are 24th, all right, with dealing with pressure as far as how the outcome goes. Another 4-star advantage for the Packers. Rushing inside the tackles, the Packers are 22nd. The Titans are 6th. So if you want to know how you need to run the football here, you need to run off tackle. You need to go BC gap is what you need to do. Outside zone. This might be the game too, guys. Didn't think about this. It might be time to break out power GT and pull a guard in the tackle outside. Now, that's more of a gap-oriented approach. LaFleur loves to do that stuff. He has in the past anyway. That could be another way that you get out. Also, you haven't seen a whole lot of pin and pull this year. This could be the game we break out the pin and pull, right? So keep that in mind.
Do you think it's fair that when we went into the season, we all kind of criticized the interior offensive line, and now we're seeing? I mean, it's maybe not fair that it's 2 weeks in, so we got 2 weeks of data here, but right now the glaring weakness right here on this is what we thought it would be. Is that fair to still criticize Absolutely. Josh Myers and those guys there?
Absolutely, man. Sean Ryan, Josh Myers. That's the biggest issues there, right? We talked about it all offseason. So, yeah, I'm not here to roast anybody, but the facts are the facts.
No, you got to say what say something or see something, say something, right?
Exactly. All right, so rushing inside the tackles, obviously the Titans have a 4-star advantage there. Design runs, Packers are 4th. Titans defense 17th. So that gives Green Bay a 3-star advantage. So anything you guys want to hit on there before we move on to Titans offense against Packers defense?
Tim, what do you think about rushing versus the light box, bro? Did you ever think that you'd be seeing that? I don't know. That's crazy to me. I'm excited as all get out that's what we got. That we talked about it. Like there was very few things that would make me forget one of the best, in my opinion, just team home players ever of Aaron Jones, but Josh Jacobs somehow jumped into those shoes, and he's, in my opinion, he's making me a believer.
Oh yeah, I mean, Clayton, you and I talked about this a little bit during camp, that we felt that as tough as it was to see Aaron Jones go, that we felt really good about Josh Jacobs being able to do a lot of those things that are similar to what Aaron Jones's game brings to the table. I feel like Josh Jacobs is a little more durable, and I mean that with respect to Aaron Jones. So certainly, carrying the ball 30, 40 times a game on a regular basis is something I think Josh Jacobs is capable of doing. I don't know if we necessarily have to take that approach, but to answer your question, Jacob, yeah, against the light box, what that's telling the league when you see this is you're not dropping an extra guy or two into that box. We're going to run the ball on you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. And the minute you bring that help into the box, we just went over what we're going to do when you do that. We let Tupac LaFleur go into that playbook and make you look real bad with play action. So
I was going to say, and real quick, just sorry to interrupt you, but like the fact that we did that with Malik Willis, like most of that Josh Jacobs eating was done with Malik Willis. So imagine when they have the option, like you just talked about, go ahead and load the box with Jordan Love. You want to try that? Okay, we'll see how that works for you. And I can't imagine having a better, like, well-versed offense than if you really want to stack the box on Jordan Love versus if you don't, then it looks like Josh Jacobs is ready to start running for 150 every game on you.
And QB1, I mean, if Jordan Love's in the game and he sees that, you know what I mean? If he sees a light box, he's going to check out. He may check out and go to a run. And if he sees guys dropping into the box, they're trying to load up, he may can out of a run and hit him with, like Clayton was talking about, some of this play action dagger concept. You've got guys running shallow crossers, things like that. And you get the guys in the box moving around and get them shuffling right where you want them, and you hit your man in space. I mean, Dontavian Wicks comes to mind, a guy that just finds those little holes in the defense and is just a completion magnet. So it is. It's all due to the fact that we are effective against the light box in the run game, and that's awesome, man.
No, definitely. Omer says, have you hit that like button? All caps. I did, Omer. Get off my back. I did it, buddy.
Yeah, right, so there we go.
Appreciate that, man.
For you, Jacob.
Thank you.
So a couple things I want to hear here in the chat. Greg Rice says, on paper, it looks like we crush them. And we know, Greg, that means absolutely nothing, right? So I want everybody to make sure there's a reason it's just a 3-point difference, guys, according to the books, right? If it was a true, man, the Packers should run away with this, you would see the Packers be closer to even, or maybe even, or maybe even given a point or two, even on the road. So there's a reason that Vegas can give out those free drinks with the pretty little umbrellas, right? They know what the hell they're talking about. This is going to be a close game. And it's going to come down to what we always talk about: turnover differential, controlling the explosives, winning the middle late. It's protecting the football, win the ball, win the game. So nobody here is saying, man, we're going to kill them. But it is nice to see some of these analytics and go, okay, we've got a decent shot here, guys, especially if Tim plays. So, all right, Omer says, no, I'm sorry, Coach Lynn, I want to see ISO run game at Simmons. Coach, if you said,
I love Coach Lynn. I love it.
Coach, if you told me, Clayton, you get to pick. You can pick anything to go absolutely perfect in this game. After hearing Jeffrey Simmons, I'm with you, bub. I'm with you. But when everything else is suggesting, let's keep it outside, right? You got to – now, here's the other thing, too. And this is what makes the NFL so great. They've seen this information, not necessarily this specific here, but I guarantee you their scouting department has found, hey, look, we got to be really, really aware outside. We got to. You heard Jeffrey Simmons mention it specifically in that interview. So this isn't going to catch them off guard, right? So that could be the play too. Now it's going to come down to how they line up. Are they trying to cheat a half a gap outside, right? And it's hard to notice that on the TV copy. You really don't pick it up until long after the game's over. You start diving into the box cam footage from the all 22s. But that's something I guarantee you LaFleur's thinking about too, because that's what makes these games so great. They know what we do good. We know what they do good. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to do that, right? So if they do, I say all that because Coach Lynn's saying I want to see an ISO game at Simmons. What if we come out and they're expecting us to run outside and they leave Simmons on an island in there and they're cheating a half a gap out? Hey, let's pound it right down at his freaking throat. Run a little 0-1 trap on him, right, Coach? A little 0-1 trap, put him on his ass. That's what I'd like to see. But
he not only rambled, but he rumbled and stumbled.
You got to take what you can get. That's the beautiful thing about LaFleur. I don't feel like he coaches with an ego at all. We seen that last week. I mean, he broke out 1932 football last week. It was awesome. So, all right. Let's move over to the Titans offensive side, okay? So this is Titans offense against Packers defense. Pressure rate. The Titans are ranked dead last in pressure rate. We got a 5-star advantage. We're 16th, all right? Passing versus the blitz. They are dead last, 32nd. We are 19th on defense, 5-star advantage. Passing versus play action. They're 30th, okay? We're 7th against the play action with a 5-star advantage. Long passing, deep passing. What did I just get through saying earlier? He's got a cannon. He just sucks at throwing it deep, right? They're 30th in long passing. The Packers are 15th at controlling long passing, 4-star advantage Packers. Quarterback scrambles. They're 7th, according to Next Gen Stats in the league. We're 27th against scrambling quarterbacks or quarterbacks when they scramble. So this is what I was saying about the pass rush. Let's wait one more week, guys, before we pin our ears back. Let's play this smart. Let's make him sit in the pocket and make him play the same way that we made Anthony Richardson play last week. Because I'm telling you, his throw chart, too, I don't know if I still got it here or not. I think I do. Look at his throw chart. It's so obvious that he is way more comfortable throwing the ball to the right side of the field. So how do you combat that? You shade your coverage to that side of the field just a touch, and you get pressure in his face from the right side, and you force him to look left. This is Bill Belichick 101. Make them play left-handed. All of his interceptions have come – well, 2 of his 3 interceptions, I should say, have come from him getting flush left or pressure and him having to throw the ball to the left side of the field. That's where his accuracy issues truly are. So it's important to take that into consideration too. Make him play within the pocket. And when you do get after him, if you want to fire 5 and there was one of his 3 interceptions that was a 5-man rush, bring it from the right side. Put those hands in the throwing lanes on the right side and make him play left-handed. Does that make sense, guys?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yes. The other thing we talked about, too, is that Nicholas Petit-Fier, who's going to be their right tackle, he is statistically one of the worst tackles, specifically right tackles, in the league right now, giving up, I believe, over 10 pressures already. And he's going against our own Mr. Rashawn Gary. And I think that Hafley knows about that. I think that, like we've talked about, he's really clever in the way that he blitzes. It's not like he's rushing 5 or 6. He's really good at getting pressure with 4. If you call that a blitz, he's doing some TE stunts and all that kind of stuff. But I really do think that we're basically I think we're playing a lesser version of Anthony Richardson this week. Like you talked about.
It does feel like that. That's a great way of saying it, Jacob. It really does,
man. And we just got to contain him. We got to contain him and not let him use his only attributes that he has, which is like his legs, his athleticism, his deep ball. He's not going to be accurate with it. So let's just make him pressured to all get out. And I think that we're going to be all right.
Yeah, I agree. Tim, you got anything else to add to that, bro?
No, I agree with Jacob. That's a great observation. Astute observation, Jacob.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
let's see. We've probably already seen these. Let's just look here. For the highest rate. I think that one's new, right? Did we? I don't know if we hit that or not. Designed rushes. Yeah, we already hit on all these. Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything there. Let's see if anything changes as far as passing. Oh, look at this breakdown, gents.
Ooh.
You kidding me for a stat nerd like me?
Now here's some stats.
I'm like a redneck in the whiskey bottle. This is beautiful right here. Let me tell you. So passing. Let's talk intermediate passing. So this is Packers offense against Titans defense. Intermediate passing. So that mid-level. You got short, you got medium, you got long. This is that medium range. Packers offense so far this year, 27th. Okay. Titans defense, 13th. They've got a 3-star advantage. Pass. Now keep in mind too, Malik Willis played 1 game, albeit his stats were better on a per snap basis than Jordan Love in week 1. Now we gotta take that for what it's worth. I'm not saying there's a quarterback controversy. Calm down out there, okay? But passing versus pressure, Packers second best in the league. The Titans defense 8th when getting pressure on the quarterback, okay? That gives a 3-star advantage to the Packers. Quick passing, Packers are 15th. Titans defense 25th. 2-star advantage for the Packers. Passing versus play action. So far this year, Packers offense 18th. Titans defense have handled play action passes pretty darn well. 8th ranked. That gives them a 2-star advantage. So, Tim, we got to back up. What did we just talk about with the boots, right?
Yep.
Seems like the Titans are pretty good. 2 games, though. They haven't seen our boot, have they? So,
right.
Could be a different ball game, but something to take into consideration there.
And they haven't seen Matt LaFleur calling them either. You know,
Right.
A lot of times it's when you're calling that play, that's everything. So I have full confidence in our head coach.
So passing versus no play action. This is just straight drop back passing. Packers are 5th in the league. The Titans defense is 11th. So that's a 2-star advantage for the Packers. See, and some of these are pretty darn close. Passing versus no pressure, Packers 17th. The Titans, when not pressuring, 9th best in the league. So they may not fire too many blitzes there coming up on Sunday. That's a 2-star advantage for the Titans. Long passing. So now we're talking about probably distance of 20 yards or more, I would imagine. Okay. I think it's typically short is 0 to 10 yards. Medium is 10 to 20, and anything over 20 is considered long, if I remember correctly on the throw charts. Actually, might be able to see it right here. I think that's part of the design. It doesn't specify there. So it would be nice to know that info, but you get the idea. Long passing. Packers are 4th. Titans defense 3rd. So the Titans have a slight edge there. All right. Short passing. Packers are 10th. Titans defense 15th. Very slight edge. Just a 1-star advantage for the Packers. Deep passing 3rd and 3rd. They got the Packers as the advantage. I guess the tie goes to the offense. Overall passing efficiency. Packers 5th. Titans defense 10th. Packers slight advantage. Passing versus no blitz 6th for the Packers. The Titans defense 9th. Slight advantage for the Packers. And then passing versus the blitz. Packers are 9th best. The Titans defense is 11th best. No true advantage there. So of those categories from the passing game, it looks like out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 categories, the Packers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 12. We have the advantage with one of those remaining being a push. So everything's leaning towards the Packers, man. I'm feeling pretty damn good about that +3 if you like to put a little action on the game. All right.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind there. All right. Anything you guys want to add to that as far as the Packers offense in the passing game versus the Titans defense?
I just think what you just said supports your previous comment about any given Sunday. In a lot of ways, it looks lopsided. It looks like, feel great on paper, but the game's played between the lines, and anything can happen out there. So it's important that we don't take this for granted. But I'm with you. I think if this game was at Lambeau, we'd probably be +3 favorites going into it. So I said this a few days ago, and I still believe it. I think it's going to be a close game, much like the Colts game was there towards the end there. And I don't care. I really don't care whether we boat race this team or we beat them by a Narveson field goal at the end or something. It doesn't matter. Put the dub in the column and go back home and get ready for Minnesota. That's the mantra.
Absolutely, man. So again, on the offensive side, it's obvious the Titans' strength is their defense. I think we would all agree. The analytics, according to Next Gen Stats, suggests we still have the advantage in the passing game as far as our offense versus their defense, but it is a pretty tight race there, right? Just by a couple of different categories.
Yep.
So let's move on to the Titans offense and the Packers defense. Passing versus the blitz, Packers have a 5-star advantage on defense over the Titans offense passing versus the blitz. Passing versus play action, the Packers are 7th best against that. Titans are 30th best on offense doing it. 5-star advantage Packers. Long passing, Titans 30th, Packers 15th. Packers have a 4-star advantage. Overall passing efficiency, Titans are 29th, Packers defense 18th, 4-star advantage Packers. Deep passing, Titans 27th, Packers defense 9th, 4-star advantage Packers. Short passing, Titans 31st, Packers defense 23rd, 3-star advantage. Passing versus no play action, Titans are 30th, Packers are 24th, 3-star advantage Packers. Passing versus pressure, Titans are 31st, Packers defense 25th. That's only a 2-star advantage. Passing versus no pressure, 19th best are the Titans. Packers defense is 11th best in that situation. 2-star advantage. Quick passing game, the Titans are 22nd, Packers defense is 17th, 1-star advantage. Passing versus no blitz and intermediate passing, both a push there. So that would suggest the Packers have a pretty damn good advantage on passing or against the Titans' pass attack come Sunday. So anything there, Tim?
Yeah, more of the same, right? Looks great on paper. There's no advantage for the Titans here in any of these columns. But again, some of our advantages are greater than others. It seems like there's a lot of 1 and 2-star, which honestly that's negligible, right? You're talking about 19th or 11th, 22nd or 17th. It's very very close. Flip a coin, and it's going to be who's ready to play come Sunday for sure.
Anonymous Human in the chat says Green Bay 16, Tennessee 13. I could totally see that playing out, especially if Jordan Love doesn't play. I think it would be that type of game. If Jordan plays and that knee is not hindering him hardly at all,
then it's what Omer said.
Yeah, it could be closer to what Omer's saying here. I mean, seriously. And listen, here's the other thing too that I want to say. Even though the analytics are showing like, hey, the Packers probably have the better chance of winning this game, fluky things can happen. The reality is the Titans are 0-2. They're a wounded dog, Tim. In the NFL, these guys, that coaching staff, these players, Will Levis, the other players on the they're playing for their football lives right now. Because if they go down 0-3, it's going to get real loud down there in Nashville.
That's so true. That's not the team you want to face, right? The team that has nothing to lose because they've already lost so much. Like they back against the wall. They need a win to turn their season around right now, and they're at home. So there's a lot of I'm a big underdog fan all the time, and I know they got us technically as the underdog here, according to the odds makers. But I think in a lot of ways Tennessee probably identifies as the underdog in this matchup. They've had a couple of disasters the last 2 weeks, and they are looking for a get-right game. They're going to be at home. I know Jacob talked about it might as well be a home game on the road for us down there in Nashville. Probably going to be a lot of Packer fans there, you and Emilio included, obviously. But I don't know. I really I don't know. I feel like I'm not nervous, but I just feel like we can't be arrogant going into this game. We cannot take this team for granted, and we've got to take the same mindset that we took into the Indy game, which is to play for each other and play out there as a team. Man, nobody trying to do it all themselves. Pick each other up, and whether we get QB1 back under center or we've got Malik Willis again, the attitude should be the same, which is like Christian Watson talked about a few days ago in his interview, the motivation to win a ball game. That's all you need. Get the dub.
It's something that Chris C. mentions here in the chat. He's a member of the PTA posse. Appreciate you, Chris. He says, and a special teams block. I thought I heard they've had 2 punts blocked already, but it might just be 1. But there's some opportunity there on special teams. That's something we hardly ever talk about, Tim. Special teams is 1/3 of the freaking game, right? Yep. I know I see the Narvison conversation going on in the chat. Absolutely, it's huge. Go down there and try to hit all those kicks. But the other thing too, man, blocking on punts, making sure you don't get gashed for the big ones on special teams, all that invisible yardage that adds up so quick. Got to win on special teams. Got to.
You heard Coach LaFleur talking about that in the locker room. He talked about we fence, the mentality that they have in that special teams unit. They call it we fence, and that's because you've got any and everyone contributing. You've got starters running out there on kickoffs and punts and things like that. You've got bottom of the depth chart guys fighting for reps that are out there playing special teams. And any one of those plays can be invaluable and tilt a ball game. Look at Daniel Whelan. Daniel Whelan secured that victory for us with 3 absolute bombs of punts. And it's like, oh, the punter or, the kicking game kind of gets a little bit of, swept under the rug a lot of times and underappreciated. But like Daniel Whelan kept tilting that field and made it very difficult for Indy to get back into that game last week. And that stuff is valuable. It really is.
Yeah. Mr. Maki Riggs in the chat say, Clayton, please read the Rashawn Gary Inside if you haven't done so already. I don't think we hit it because it didn't pop up just a second ago. I'm going to come back to the screen. Don't let me forget, Tim. We're coming back to the rushing, okay? But I want to hit this like he asked for here. Let's go ahead and pop this up on the screen. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah. So this is what he's talking about, gang. Check this out. Right down here at the bottom. I don't know if I can zoom it in enough. It's going to throw everything out of whack. So this spot right here, okay, I'll try to read it. It's a little bit smaller font here. Titans right tackle Nicholas Petit-Frere, I think is how you say it, Freer, set an NGS, Next Gen Stats, era record on Sunday after allowing 13 pressures on 35 pass blocking snaps against the Jets. It goes on to say his 37.1 pressure rate allowed, that's, try not to laugh, but man, that is horrible, is the highest single game rate since 2018 with a minimum of 20 pass block snaps, primarily matching up against Petit-Frere. For the Packers will be defensive end Rashawn Gary, who plays 91% of his snaps lined up as a left edge. So far on the season, Gary has generated 5 pressures on 47 pass rushes for a 10.6% pressure rate. Last season, Gary finished last season with the 9th best pressure rate in the league at 17.4% with a minimum of 250 pass rushes, and will be looking to regain his pace from 2023. Tim, I don't even like to talk about Rashawn Gary because I get so damn pissed off because people are like, hey, he's overrated. It's like he's the best. He's arguably the best defensive player before McKinney got here on the Packers roster. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, man. Like, right. I'm so glad that Mikey brung this up. Thanks, Mikey. Appreciate you, bub. Because I think we didn't scroll all the way down and see it. And I know I read this earlier. That's huge, man. It's absolutely huge. That's that pressure. Remember what we just talked about? Trying to make Levis throw to his left where he's uncomfortable.
Yep.
Get pressure from the right. This is lining up. Now, listen, they know old boy is struggling, so they're gonna put a chipper on there. They're gonna try to give a little bit of help on that side, whether it be a tight end or go sidecar right out of the gun and get a little chip on him. They'll try to get some help over there, no doubt. So just keep that in mind too. But yeah, appreciate you bringing that up, Mikey. You are the man, bub. All right, let's get back to the rushing game that we were hitting on. There it is. All right, bang. So let's look at the matchup comparisons in the running game. All right, and let me widen this out a bit. I think it is. There we go. Okay, cool. Rushing outside the tackles. This is the Packers offense against the Titans defense. Outside the tackles, Packers are 3rd. Titans defense 24th. 4-star advantage Packers. Rushing versus the light box, we are number 1. We hit on some of these earlier, but there's more to these, so that's why we're going to run through them again. Light box, Packers running game 1st. Titans defense 14th. 4-star advantage Packers. Rushing inside the tackles, Packers are 22nd. Titans are 6th. That's a 4-star advantage for the Titans. So you're seeing probably need to lean on the outside zone runs and some of that GT power outside. Design runs 4th for the Packers, 17th for the Titans defense. That's a 3-star advantage for the Packers. Quarterback scrambles, the Titans defense is 12th best at stopping that. The Packers have not been a scrambling team. I know you've seen the Malik Willis scamper last week. I don't even know if that was considered a scramble, though. It probably wasn't, Tim, because that was a design quarterback draw. So right. Keep that in mind, that the play that Malik Willis hit 19 miles an hour on, that wasn't technically a scramble, I don't think. I could be wrong there. Rushing versus a stacked box, Packers are 29th. Titans defense is 18th. That's a 3-star advantage for them. Rushing under center, 16th for the Packers, 27th for the Titans defense, 2-star advantage for the Packers. Overall rushing efficiency, 9th for the Packers, 17th for the Titans defense, 2-star advantage Packers. Rushing out of the shotgun sets, Packers are 5th. Titans defense is 7th at stopping it. That's just a slight 1-star advantage. And then rushing in the red zone, Packers are dead last in the league. But lucky for us, the Titans are dead last as far as run defense in the red zone. So no advantage there. So when you're talking about the running game from the Packers offense's perspective, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different categories. And the Packers lead in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those categories, with the 7th being a push, meaning only 3 are in the Titans' advantage there. So,
Yep.
Anything to add there, Tim, before we move on?
Yeah, you see at the bottom there, the rushing in the red zone.
Yep.
That's kind of a thing that I think is part of it's just a byproduct of the LaFleur system. We like to attack in the red zone with the pass game. We queue up our tight ends. We queue up Romeo Dobbs. We do a little, RPO kind of thing, or we play actions, things like that. Quick slant, stuff like that near the goal line. So by default, we're going to have less attempts rushing the ball. Obviously, Josh Jacobs coughing that one up at the goal line last week probably doesn't help the cause running the ball down there. But I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of running in the red zone, especially when you're in that, whatever they call that. You're the heck with being inside the 20. You're inside the the 10 or the 5. You're breathing down that end zone line. I like running the ball. Now, most teams also do. And I think that's why LaFleur likes to use that deception down there. A lot of times we'll pass out of run sets in the red zone. So we'll, pre-snap, it looks like we're going to run. And then the next thing you know, you've got, Tuck Norris, running butt naked through the trailer park, and it's a touchdown. So that's something to watch. The other thing, from our perspective, just flipping it to the defensive side here, rushing inside the tackles, it's going to be a not a work cut out for him situation, but something the guys in the middle there, Kenny and TJ Slayton, Devontae Wyatt, our big guys up front, man, we've got to be aware of what's going on inside there, so we're not giving up too many chunk runs.
Definitely. And it kind of, to me, it suggests you should load the box a bit, right? Like that's what I'm leaning towards here. Make Will Levis beat you, right? Now, it doesn't mean you go out there and play zero coverage. That's not what I'm talking about. But go up there, single high look, get that spur safety in the box. And who knows, maybe we break out the 3 safety sets this week. I don't know. I know they definitely practiced it in training camp. But throw that spur safety in the box and get that hat count in your favor and force them out of that run and make Will Levis beat you. You can still play cover 3. You can still play over-the-top technique out of a cover 1 man. You can go cover 1 drop out of that. You're tightening up those run fill gaps underneath when you load the box a little bit. Now, I'm not saying you put 10 guys in the box, 9 guys in the box. It's just real simple.
Right.
Bring that spur safety up 5 to 7 yards off the line of scrimmage where he can meet that run fit and take some of the pressure off those big guys up front where they can truly play a gap. And in some cases, if you got that extra body in there, play a half a gap in some strategic spots, which I don't think we're going to have time right now. We'll do it in the morning on tomorrow's show. But you talk about how Tony Pollard likes to run a football, or at least where they've had success early through 2 games, is running the ball to the left. So what you want to do is try to steal a half a gap or close up an extra half gap on the left side and leave yourself a little bit more vulnerable on the right side. And that allows you to kind of pin your ears back on the right side and get pressure in Levis's face on that same side too. So you make him play left-handed like we talked about. Let's talk about the Titans offense in the running game, okay? Quarterback scrambling, they have a 4-star advantage over the Packers defense, okay? 7th best in quarterback scrambles. Packers defense is 27th best. Rushing outside of the tackles, the Titans are 10th best. Packers defense 25th best. That's a 3-star advantage for the Titans. Overall rushing efficiency, 13th to 18th, 2-star advantage for the Titans. Rushing in the red zone, Titans are 18th, Packers 26th, 1-star advantage for the Titans. Rushing inside the tackles, 18 to 12. Packers actually have the slight advantage there inside the tackles. Rushing shotgun out of the gun, 23rd to 28th with a 1-star advantage for the Titans. Rushing under center, 13th to 7th. Packers have a slight advantage there, 1-star. Rushing versus the light box, the Titans are 24th, Packers are 27th, slight advantage to the Titans. Rushing versus the stack box, the Titans are 6th best at running against that stack box, so keep that in mind. But the Packers defense is 10th best when they load the box, so it's just a 1-star advantage for the Titans. Design runs, kind of a push there at 15th and 16th, respectively. So according to Next Gen Stats, the Titans have the definite advantage in the running game against the Packers defense. So that's where the emphasis needs to be this week. Focus on stopping their run and make Will Levis beat you. That's really what it comes down to. So,
and have a plan for if you're gonna selectively apply some pressure to Will Levis and hope that he makes that errant throw or that bad decision with the football. You also have to have a game plan for if he breaks out of that pocket and takes off running, because we see it up here, 7th and QB scrambles, and that can get an offense going. Even if your completions are down and you're not doing so hot as a rookie quarterback, you break off a 25, 30-yard scramble, that's going to fire up your offense, get the boys running downhill. So we've got to account for him in and out of the pocket, I think, because the slightest little spark to an 0-2 football team at home against the Green Bay Packers, that's going to be advantageous for them, and they're going to take full advantage of it. So we got to limit those mini explosives from the quarterback for sure.
Absolutely, man. Explosives, it's the key to teams winning ball games, man. There's no two ways about it. You got to control the explosives, reduce and tighten up the red zone defense, all that stuff. Keep the other team off the scoreboard. So here are the early notes for me, okay? And what I'm going to start doing every week is just based off of what I'm seeing on film, what we're noticing in analytics here. I'm going to put together a little mini game plan. This isn't anything specific talking about, hey, you should run these route combinations, you should run this run scheme. It's just a very vague approach to, okay, here's how we're seeing the game based off the information that we have, right? On offense, they are a legit top 10 running defense, okay? So don't get caught pounding your head against the freaking wall. We also learned run outside, right? So keep that in mind. They have the number 2 pass defense as far as yards per pass attempt, okay? So they got a top 10 rush defense in yards per attempt given up. They've got a number 2 defense in yards allowed per pass attempt. 24th in takeaways, okay? So they're 24th in takeaways. They're not very good at taking the ball away. That's that, and the Packers are really good at that, so that kind of leans in the Packers' favor there. So you want to be aware of that, hey, don't be afraid to be aggressive. We opened up talking about Jaden Reed. This might be the game to do that, Tim. Might be, especially if J-Lo's back. Let's start hammering the middle, man. Let's run some double climbs. Let's run some slot cross. Let's run some drive concepts. Let's get some play action and attack the middle of the field, open up the passing game. The weather's going to be good enough for it, right? It is.
Let the bird fly.
Yeah. And I would max doubles on Simmons in the run game. If you're going to run, like Coach Lynn was saying, if you're going to run a little ISO in the middle, I would try to make sure that you could scheme it up, whether it's a pre-snap adjustment and setting the run scheme, the run blocking scheme. Let's try to get 2 bodies on Jeffrey Simmons. Let's try to go double on him and run off of that when you do run inside. Although, like we said, the game plan truly does suggest let's bounce the ball outside. Tuesday players. This is what Bill Belichick has coined as like, here are the players that you really need to focus on their side of the ball, each facet of the game. I feel like their Tuesday players are Jeffrey Simmons, Ernest Jones, who's a stack backer, and then, of course, Harold Landry, who is a really good pass rusher. You got Tom on Landry. You don't have to give help there. So you kind of got that taken care of unless they decide to move him around. That can be a little tricky if they kick him inside to like a 3-tech. I don't know if they have any history of that, but if they do, that could give Sean Ryan fits. So just keep that in mind. Those are my 3 Tuesday players on the Titans defense. And now our defensive game plan. They love to throw right, and they're pretty effective at throwing right, okay? But it's typically 20 yards or less. What does that mean? Don't be afraid to break out Mabel on the right side. And for those of you who don't know, when we talk Mabel coverages, even you can do this in zone match too, but it's typically more predominant in spot drop. But with the Mabel, it's designed to attack trips and bunch sets. You're essentially putting 3 defenders on that right sideline. It's a flat to hook, it's a hook to deep out, and then you've got your deep shot protection on that side too. So you're taking away 3 levels on one side of the field. That's called Mabel. Spread your Mabel on that right side and bring the heat off right side. Force him to go left. Now, if you do decide to go left and you show shell coverage, the way you might want to approach that is you're going to be flooding him left, then maybe you play it balanced and show a shell coverage. And by the pressure pushing him out left, you can kind of key in on making him play left-handed like we talked about. They run the ball to the left best, okay? And I was going to show this. We'll show it tomorrow. Just remind me, Tim, this is just the last game you see here. This is Tony Pollard's run chart. 17 carries for 62 yards. when they ran to the left, they're pretty balanced. They ran to the right 9 times, to the left 8 times, and it's pretty spread out between inside and out. They have 4 attempts outside left for 24 yards, 6 yards a pop. Inside left, 4 attempts for 24 yards. So you got to key in on that too. They're really effective at running the ball to the left. Keep that in mind. When you're rushing, bring a 4 to 5 man rush. Don't get crazy with a 6-man blitz. There's no reason to. If you can get pressure with Gary off the end, or they've got to slide that protection to help Gary, that's going to give Kenny Clark, Devontae White, Preston Smith, anyone else with LV on that other side opportunities to get to the quarterback. So don't get caught seeing ghosts in that regard. Don't try to do too much with the blitz. Levis will throw picks. Give him the opportunity. Give him the opportunity. They're Tuesday players on offense, in my opinion. Wide receiver Calvin Ridley, halfback Tony Pollard. They got a tight end that I can't even pronounce his name, but he's got the second highest passer rating when targeted. Okawanku, I think it may be how you say it. I can't even. His first name is Chigozia. Good luck with that, Tim. There's nobody in Harlan County, Kentucky with a name spelled like that. We got your Ernest Smiths over there in the holler. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we see it. We're going to dive into it even deeper tomorrow morning and get back in here and do some PFF stuff too. But, Tim, I'm tired of talking. Anything you want to add here before we wrap up?
Yeah, I saw one I had started earlier from Ron Sandville in the chat. We're talking about Calvin Ridley being that big body, physical receiver, probably their best weapon on offense. Best way to stop Ridley is to pressure the quarterback. I agree. Amen. I agree. I would add the caveat that I just brought up before but have a game plan if he wiggles out of there, and finds a seam or something, because, we don't have to go too far back in Packer memory to, have nightmares about quarterbacks running roughshod through our defense on a simple scramble, especially when you see guys that the pressure's getting there and it's almost there too fast, too much, guys over pursue, and then the quarterback steps up and out and he's gone. And, Mr. DeVito comes to mind, that Giants game. That was atrocious. We got lit up by Baker Mayfield on the ground and in the air in that Tampa game. So, I mean, you got to have a game plan, but I agree. I think a heavy dose of pressure in that game plan is going to benefit us, but I just don't think we can, constantly sell out. Like you said, we can't just pin our ears back all day. We've got to play some disciplined football.
Absolutely. And when you talk about the best way to stop Ridley is pressuring the quarterback, amen. And when you talk about some of the insights of playing press man on Ridley is the way to beat him, that's one of the reasons why it's not – I don't think it's necessarily that Calvin Ridley isn't a good enough receiver to beat press man. I think it's the quarterback going, oh, he's pressed, where else can I go, rather than give him time to work through that. And maybe he doesn't have time, seeing that the right tackle couldn't block himself out of a paper bag, right? So there you go. All right, Tim, I appreciate your time, man. I know Jacob had to run. We'll be back tomorrow morning for PTA. I think I'm going to sleep in a little bit, so it'll probably be like 9 a.m. Central maybe, rather than 8 a.m. Central. I got to get caught up on some rest, man. So
do that.
I'm going to knock that out. And then the plan should be to go like late afternoon, maybe or early afternoon, do another show. And then I got to hit the road to Nashville. And the plan is right now, Tim and Jacob will go live if everything goes as planned. No pressure, Tim. They'll go live for the post-game show. And as soon as me and Emilio can get back to the hotel, we might wait like 30 or 40 minutes before we go live for the post-game show. So we can get back to the hotel, get set up, and actually join y'all for the post-game show. That's the plan. So
Perfect.
Yeah. Probably won't be a pregame show unless Jacob wants to fly solo on one, and we might be able to call in. But, nonetheless, we'll be tweeting and sending you guys pics and all that good stuff. So,
awesome.
Tim, appreciate your time, man. Help me out here, dude. Can you do that?
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.